Bonjour everyone, welcome to another episode. I've got another little diecast showcase for you today. Today I thought I'd do a little JDM showcase of miscellaneous mainline vehicles from my collection. So we're going to be talking about a variety of different brands and a fair variety also of different car manufacturers if we're talking about the lineup that we're going to check out. So without further ado, we'll get it started. So basically, first car that we're going to put on display is this nice Subaru Impreza 22B. So basically the original Impreza and the pretty much the epitome of the old style Impreza as a whole. So we're talking about a vehicle that was designed for rally homologation for Group A in the 90s. Flat 4 engine, as with most Subarus. Of course, you got flat 6s as well. This one obviously is a casting that was extremely awaited on my part, being a fan of Japanese vehicles. Original release was in blue with gold 10 spokes, and this is release 2. It's going to be in a nice dark metallic wine red with gold OH5s. Apologies there. Love this full detail up front. Nice rendering of the bumper, the bumper vents, and the fog light covers. Obviously hood vents as well that are extremely important part of the vehicle style, as well as cooling for the top mount intercooler that comes with these engines, in stock form at least. Rear detailing done, no badging, but the lights are there. Nice appropriately sized exhaust, same thing for the wing. Really nice, really nice little vehicle. So basically we'll put this one over here. Vehicle number 2 is going to be this SA22 or FB Mazda RX7. So basically we've got again the same style of wheels, the OH5, this time in silver. You'll notice this one has a little bit of wear since this is a thrift store find. Do have a couple variations of this casting, including the newest one that was released in blue out of the J Import series. The Coney liveried one that came out in 2018 in gray. And I did have the green one that I traded away as well. So nice cast. From the rear lights we can see that this would be an early generation RX7. So late 70s as opposed to early 80s. This vehicle is right-hand drive. Got again that nice hue of burgundy, very nice metallic, very nice sheen on that paint color. Tampos work well with the car as well, at least in my opinion. And no front or rear detailing if we're talking about lights, but since it has pop-up lights, it's no big deal. And a very nice little vehicle. Gotta love, it's a love-hate, eh? Rotaries and whatnot. That car, came with the 12A rotary, carved rotary as standard. In Japan, they had a 12AT, which was the same engine but with a turbo. And in the US, we got the later early 80s GSL SC model that came with the first iteration of the 13B engine that would be carried out through the RX7 line till its final run in 2002. Alright, so after that little deblatteration there, we'll go ahead and check out something that's a little bit less common. Got a Motormax Toyota Corolla. So this model is Toyota Corolla GLI, and this would have been a specific trim and model that would have been available on the Southeast Asian market, amongst others Thailand and the Philippines. So very popular car across the world, the Toyota Corolla. You can see all the badging there on the back. It is left-hand drive. Typical Motormax wheels. Not the greatest wheels in the world, but you know, I like the fact that they did still make the effort to add a little bit of tread on the side of the tire to add to a little bit to the realism. Works well on a little Econo box like this, since we're not talking about tires that you would expect to have an aggressive pattern. So yeah, front lights are done. Pardon me. Not a whole lot to see on the base, but here you go. So Motormax. Motormax did release quite a few interesting vehicles that weren't necessarily seen from other brands. You know, this being a perfect example. I mean, nobody did a Thai market Corolla, not even Tomica. So it's pretty cool stuff. Next one, going back to Hot Wheels. Pardon me. So this again is a thrift store find. Personally, I find it was a lucky thrift store find. The Isuzu. So V-Cross was a little SUV from the 90s. They actually do. It actually did start off, sorry, as a style study concept, and they ended up producing it. Obviously, style is very unusual, lots of little touches that would be not something that you would have seen every day on a vehicle of this age. This was released in the late 90s through the early 2000s. Not a huge commercial success, but it has a cult following. We've got some lens headlights that are part of the glass portion of the vehicle. Metal base, metal body. You can see it's a 2000 copyright. Black portion of the casting is plastic cladding that goes all around the vehicle. And there is a touch of color for the rear lights, which is also, always awesome. You've got a black portion on the hood with the Hot Wheels logo. But yeah, really cool little SUV. Definitely different style-wise. Like the big PR5s. They suit the car well. So, and it's in really good condition, so another lucky thrift store find, so always enjoyable. We're going to be moving on to something a little bit different than the previous one. We've got a Tomica Nissan Leaf, first gen. Yeah, so this one is a tiny little car. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing to look at, but it's cute. It fits within the Tomica mainline range, I find, very well. This type of cute little quirky vehicles. Well rendered, lens headlights. Notice a few chips on the paint, as again, this was definitely a thrift store find. Lucky one at that, in my opinion, at least. It's not, again, not the most desirable vehicle, but it's quirky, it's cool, it's tiny, it's weighty for its size. Nice rear detailing there with the rear lights in silver since they're LEDs. Nice framing around the windows in black. The infamous Tomica 4 or 5 slot wheels. In this case, the tiny 5 slots are always something that you can expect. In addition to on sportier vehicles, the wide deep dish type wheels a la Majorette from the 80s. Yeah, cool little vehicle. 1/68 scale, as you can see, 2011. Yeah, you can see there, it's dwarfed in size by the Isuzu. Alright, so let's see. Next up we have a, this would be a Realtoy, and it's a Toyota Soarer or Lexus SC430, well, depending where you are in the world. In this case, it is a Toyota. We're talking about a Japanese version. So we have right-hand drive. This is a closed window car. Minimal details on the front, although the grille is very well rendered with that Toyota logo. Blade slightly crooked, but not bad. Yep, so these are your typical Realtoy wheels. They kind of look like PR5s, but smaller with more sidewall on the tires. You know, they suit the vehicle well, although these, especially at release, did have a very quirky style of aluminum wheels. The rear is very bulbous. This is a hardtop convertible in its real form. Got some good badging there. The SC430 and the Soarer license plates. Gloss red color. Good paint quality. Stood up very well. And yeah, dark gray interior. 1/59 scale, as you can see. So, a little bit more of an unusual one there. Next up, this is a casting I really like. This is a Honda S2000 Ryu Asada design casting with the hard top and the wide body. Kind of looks like something that would have been out of Powerhouse Amuse, the tuning company that was well represented amongst others in Gran Turismo games. They made crazy racing wide body versions of the S2000, culminating with the GT1 Turbo that put out over 500 horsepower. Very cool casting. So burnt orange paint, white PR5s, same diameter across the line, nice front details. Actually looks like a spoon bumper. As mentioned, hard top, wide body. Love how the black plastic base actually lends itself to being extra, you know, like the sills and the front lip and everything like that. And the rear diffuser, which you can see here. Nice detail work on the rear. Big spoiler. This one's left-hand drive. This was just released in, I think, E-Case in yellow for 2022. So, yeah, a redo of this casting in bright yellow, and you have the little reused little logo also on the front fenders on the most recent release. So, haven't picked that one up yet. Might if I actually do find it on the pegs, but you know, I've got at least 2 other variations of this exact casting, so we'll see what happens. Alright, next up, let's switch over to Matchbox. Now, when this was released, I was pretty excited. Not because of the vehicle itself, but just because of how it's actually done. So, current gen Mazda MX5 Miata in that bright orange pearl gray interior. Got the infamous Matchbox 5 spokes, this time in black chrome, which suits the vehicle very well, I find personally. Detailing is really good on this one as well. For a dollar car, I mean, it's kind of hard to fault this one. Look at that, the Mazda badge, the MX5, the lights, the vents. I mean, everything, all the crucial points to make this car look a bit more real is actually done. So that's a big plus for me. Same thing on the front. Lights are well done. Mazda logo is pretty good too. The little vents on the lower part of the bumper, and of course the big vent that is part of the base. You know, it looks really good. I like the fact that it's a right-hand drive. Obviously the steering is not awesome, but they did a pretty spectacular job, in my opinion at least, on the shift knob. It's appropriately sized and not a huge glob just like right in the middle of the center console. You know, the roll bars that are separate from the seats, which is good. I mean, everything's done well on this car. Didn't pick up the current white variation, or the one from the previous case, at least from what I can see what people are finding. Didn't pick that one up with just because of the fact that they sacrificed the rear tampos for the weird little livery that's on the side. I did pick up the other black variation though that I kept carded, so in my opinion it actually looks really good. Alright, so next up we're gonna look at a car that was pretty much defining when I was growing up. If we're talking about modified cars, tuning, and you know, all that jazz. It's a great casting. It's the Hot Wheels, what they call the custom accurate GSR, Integra GSR. I mean, it's if you know Hondas, basically, it's phenomenal casting because of all the little intricate little things that they put on there. Now, I'll confess on right off the bat that I'm not the biggest fan of the hood vents. You know, it's cool, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. However, the JDM front end is a big plus for me, and this and the first release in white, these are the best because they're tampoed front and rear. Really cool. So it's got a Type R style front bumper based on the vents. It's got some canards as well that are in dire need of being painted black just to give it a little bit more oomph. Nice proportions, although obviously the wheel arches are huge. Black 5 spokes with the chrome ring. The rear is done as well, as you can see. Big Acura logo, a little bit big, cast in and painted silver. The rear lights are fairly well rendered. The Hot Wheels flame on the plate. Type R wing. You also have the Type R side skirts. So I mean, it's basically people that the people that were buying up Integras in, let's say, I don't know, 15 years ago. This is what their goal was if they wanted to modify their car. So lower it, widen the wheels, or the track, the stance. JDM front end conversion. The rest Type R body parts. And I mean, the GSR was always a good starting point because of that B18C1 engine, the 1.8 dual overhead cam VTEC. 4-cylinder, putting out about 170 horsepower and probably 110 to 115 pounds of torque, but that could rev well over 8,000 RPM, and even more if go ahead and modify it a little bit. So there you go. Alright, speaking of high revving engines, an engine that I've always compared and favorably to the aforementioned B-Series GSR engine, be the engine that we have in this car here. This is a Motormax, once more, last generation Celica. Based on the actual details of the car, example, front bumper, It's definitely an early car, so probably 99, 2000, 2001, something like that. Pre-facelift in 2002. And I find these look way better pre-facelift than they do post-facelift. Obviously, the wheels are wheels. Definitely not my favorite wheels in the world, but you know, the model is very well rendered. It's slightly larger than 164, just a tad, but I mean the lines are there, the proportions are perfect. This is a left-hand drive car, yellow gloss, front lights are done, no grille details. Those are going to be fairly easy to add, since you have these really well casted details. Rear lights are done as well, but again, same thing, you know, a little bit extra detailing wouldn't do it, wouldn't be a bad thing. Nicely done model. Definitely something that is enjoyable to watch. Alright, we'll go back to Matchbox with staying in the Toyota family, but a completely different type of vehicle. Got this Lexus GS430, second generation, actually third generation car, sorry. These were known as the Toyota Aristo in Japan. As of this generation, Japan actually and other international markets started selling Lexus, as opposed to it being reserved strictly to the US market, to make the brand feel more upscale internationally as opposed to only in North America. So this little Matchbox is something I picked up new when it was released. Here's your base. It's a 2006 copyright. This, I'm not sure which release this is. I know I picked it up as a single long card, but I'm not sure if it's there's so many color releases of this car. Well, quite a few. I don't want to say so many, but there must have been at least half a dozen, if not more. Really well detailed. The twin 10 spokes as wheels work really well, giving it a little bit of a VIP look, but not overly so, since it's not slammed. Nice gold metallic paint with dark tan interior, which is really nice to see. Obviously, this is a left-hand drive vehicle. Got a license plate on the back. Rear lights are done. Really elegant car. And the GS has always been my favorite in the Lexus line. You know, just like the I don't know, it's a little bit bigger than the IS. Not as land bargy as the LS. It's a very nice vehicle. I do prefer the previous gen though, if we're talking about the real life counterparts. So all right, next up, let's go a little bit vintage, a little bit more vintage. Got this nice one here, multi-pack, a multi-pack inclusion. So it's the Nissan Fairlady 2000 Roadster from Hot Wheels. This one is wide-bodied. It's got the race style livery with the number 20. Nice pearl silver. Really nice pearl silver, actually. It's got a nice sheen to it. You've got the steelies with the yellow ring to match the yellow meatball on the side and hood of the vehicle. Hot Wheels logo. See that blue stripe goes on the sides, on the trunk, and on the hood. No front or rear light details, but I love the stance of this car. Seems to have a hard top too, which is always good. Nice cast details there. It's pretty cool variation of this. I would probably have 4 or 5 other color schemes of this car, but definitely one that I enjoy. Love the side pipes as well in this thing. Black interior, right-hand drive, little oil cooler that's part of the base, clear window, and the wing vent, the wing mirrors too. So cool little sports car. This was also released under Datsun in certain markets. So, but yeah, the car that the Fairlady car that led to the following vehicle being developed, the Z. So the Z, this is a custom 240Z with the Kaido House livery, Junimai design. Very nice. Yeah, so we got the Neo Kaido on the side as well. This had 2 color releases when it came out, I believe in 2018. There was this one and the alternate red, burgundy red metallic, kind of like the same color as you'd see on the top row there for the Subaru and the RX7. But yeah, again, the Steelies, love these wheels. Probably my favorite Hot Wheels mainline wheels with the OH5s. There you go. Chrome ring around those. You got the back panel that's part of the gray interior. Spare wheel well. Wide arches, wing mirrors once more, which is always a cool touch. This one is left-hand drive, and this is, yeah, and you've got some, a little bit of work on the hood as well if we're talking about tampos. No light tampos, but that's quite fine. They're extremely easy to add on this one, since it literally just takes a drop of paint on those front lights, and it completely changes the look. And since the rear, a little bit of amber and a little bit of red. Since the rear panel is gray, it's really easy to add as well. So just the lights, I mean, it changes the car completely. Maybe a dab of silver paint also for that exhaust exit that you see on the left side of the rear. Very nice little car. I do enjoy it a lot. It's a cool one. Again, car that I have a bunch of variations of, but yeah, custom Datsun 240Z. Nice dark blue. I did prefer the blue to the red, which is why I picked up the blue instead of the red. Don't have the red one. There we go. And the last car we're going to check out today. Again, something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at a Majorette Lexus RX430H. So on the domestic market and other markets where Lexus wasn't present, where this would have been the Toyota Harrier. This specific one in Lexus guys is going to be left-hand drive, obviously, since it is a Lexus and not a Toyota. You can see the Majorette does a heck of a better job at steering wheels than Majorette does. You can also see that there's a heck of a lot more wear on this one versus others that we've looked at before. Again, I don't need to tell you this is a thrift store find. Just the paint condition will tell you. But it's definitely not a model that's been reproduced a lot. Obviously, we do have this model being produced by Atomica and a couple other Asian brands. This one specifically has the nice badging, front and rear. Seems to be a little hole there in the rear light. Gets a little parking ding. Yeah, and the RX400H means this is a hybrid version with a similar hybrid system to the Toyota Prius, but with the infamous 3.5 liter V6 attached to the hybrid system instead of that tiny 4-cylinder that's in the Prius. You've got the Y5 style Majorette wheels. They were popular in the 2000s. I'll show you the base. There you go. Slightly treaded tires, as you can see. Got the spare wheel detail there. But a nice little truck. Do you have the scale on this? Yeah, it's 161 scale. So yeah, pretty cool little truck. So there you go. Nice little JDM car show for you. I tried to do a little warm to cold color melting pot there. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know which one of these was your favorite. And if you want to be notified of future video uploads, don't hesitate to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And of course, hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. So until the next one, I wish you an excellent day and take care. Bye-bye.